Behold, a cold open, Joe. I'm hilarious. We know this. I'm like one of the funniest guys around. I'm always
It's true. You're always saying that.
yeah. I'm always sending you tweets that I wrote and say we're so funny, Joe. We're so good. But what you don't know, because maybe you know, but what the listener doesn't know, because my wife does not be on the fucking internet. So she's also very funny, and I'm going to tell you, she said a thing that made me howl with guffaws and hee-haws. Here's what it is: some setup. So we go to the fucking walking. You know how you go on a walk? We go on a walk a lot. And we walk by almost every single time this barber shop. What's got two mugs in the window. One, and they are very crude mugs. And I bet you are smiling because I said the word crude. You'll find out later why. One of the mugs is a fucking 4 sperms with people's faces drawn on them that says, "Happy Father's Day, we used to be in your balls." And so this is like the level we're at.
Yeah, this is classy. This is classy. That's Spencer's Gifts wouldn't do that.
Yeah, it was it's custom, dude. Like they faces.
They even threw the pottery.
Yeah, they're like they had to take pictures, and someone had to draw caricatures of these 4 children onto sperms. Anywho, the second one, and this one is never moved because the handle is broken off, so it no longer serves a purpose as a mug, and is more of simply like a sign in the window, which is sorry, no hablo fucktardo. And so obviously, one of the great gags that we have going on is that when we know that we are approaching this barbershop, we say to each other something to the effect of like, "Man, my hair's so long. I need a haircut. But if only... Oh, I would only be comfortable if I could speak in my native tongue of fucktardo." This looks like a barbershop. And we go, "Oh, no." So we've been doing this, like, variations of that pretty much every time. It's hilarious. We got our patter down. Less important, though, is there's a second barbershop we walk by that, fucking nothing interesting about it. And it's pretty much always empty. And we were walking by one day, and I thought nothing of it. And my wife just looks at it and like shakes her head like, "Damn," and just with total deadpan affect was like, "You know, that place is leaving a lot of business on the table by not advertising that they speak fucktardo." Hello, everybody. Welcome to Anime Sickos. It's the podcast for geniuses and the only podcast where we take a look at the 4 pillars of modern misery: anime, gaming, posting, and jobs. I am Tom, an anime sicko.
I am Joe, an anime sicko.
We got a Patreon. I say Patreon every time. It's patron. It's always been patron.
Ever since the accident, yeah.
Yeah. I Phineas gauged myself, but only for crowdfunding platforms. Joe. Oh, I'm rolling a great scroll with calligraphy because, man, the payoff is not worth it because our newest patron is Quill.
Cool, yeah, that would not have been worth it. Sorry, Quill, in advance. We appreciate your money. Sorry, Tom said those things or was about to do a bit.
I mean, I did enough of it. I can't say it didn't happen.
It could have been way worse.
I got emboldened by the last person being Hoops. Like, that really went off so good. And I'm like, Hoops, Quills, Tomes. Remember Homestar Runner when Strong Sad tried to prove to Strong Bad that he could rap, and his rap was, "The Quill, the Page, Lyric, Rampage." Remember that?
No, but I clearly, like, I watched a lot of Homestar Runner, but you have like Simpsons level recall on that.
I do. And the reason that Strong Sad had to like prove what a real lyrical rampage was is that Strong Bad's rap, because he was trying to show what it was like when he's on lyrical rampage. and he was just going, "I'm on a rampage." I'm on a rampage, and he just like said that over and over the beat. And you know what? Strong Bad's right. Sometimes that's all you need. It's like, you know how in the old days people used to fucking do a saxophone solo with this one note? It's like, and, you know, they could do that. People go
like the
nuts.
bird song.
Yeah, like a bird.
The word
like,
is the bird.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Anyway, so this one we're gonna fucking be doing a bunch of little bits. It's Oops All Goof 6 in all but name. We're not gonna name it that because when people see that title, they don't listen to it.
Yeah. And also, every time we do a character or have an elevated bit, by elevated I mean like is requiring of effort. A guy from the government comes, a G-man, and he, well, what does he do to you, Tom? Because he twists my nipples, and I hate it.
I prefer not to say it. You thought, this is very funny. You thought like we were gonna do sketches today.
Yes, because there were like 3 interactions in a row where where things were tossed around and it wasn't total shit. So I was like, okay, yeah, we're for sure like ready. We're good to go. We're ready to hit the stage.
Joe,
nothing is written. Nothing has ever been written.
Yeah, like I know that you're never gonna look at my drafts, but I was at least hoping that you would be aware of it happening that I asked you. Like you were just like, so this is the sketches one, right? I'm like, what
to be honest, I'll just come out and say it. The reason I was concerned about the sketches one, and I'll just say the sketch because it's very hard for me to do. I don't think I'm going to fucking be able to do it ever. So it's the Tower of Babel. Mm-hmm. Is it Babel?
Who cares?
Okay.
The fact that there's 2 different ones is apropos, really.
Yeah. It's the Tower of Babel. We're about to finish it. We're about to go to put God in a Boston crab for making horny. And everyone building the tower sounds like me. Like it's just like a bunch of Joes. And then when we are cast from heaven and cursed with the tongue of different languages, it's just me saying a bunch of languages really poorly. Like a big crowd of me's saying bonjour in every fucking letter or and every fucking word, basic sentence in every language, and it's just stupid. And then Tom was like, yeah, that seems hard for you to do. That seems like you'd have to do a lot of trying.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It's much easier just to tell it right here.
We do have a lot of good ideas for sketches, but I was, waiting until we had enough to write them up. The thing is, though, we can't just do that sketch anyway, because, like, we talked about the Batman sketch where the guy didn't know the Joker wasn't, like, a clown from, like, circus. We talked about that on the show, and then we did it, and everyone loved it.
Yeah, who had that idea? That was
you.
That was I think that was me. Yeah. Yeah, who came up with the shoes don't fit after you shit? I think that was me too.
That was you.
But for real though, the best joke is the Tom Pepsi stuff. In the second episode of Sickos Shock 2, even if you don't listen to it, that's fine. There's
this is without context still funny.
There's a series of auditions for people trying to become like big content people, and there's a guy who's like big skill is like he takes your first name and then he puts a soft drink after it. So
you're overthinking it. He just makes your name drinks.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Yes. Tom Petty becomes Tom Pepsi. What was another one?
Yashar Ali becomes Yashar Al Lemonade.
Just stupid shit. It was very good. If nothing else, it was for me.
Actually, what this is, stop the show dead in its tracks. This is now writing class. This is the same as college, folks. Especially if you're just starting out. And you're writing stuff down and you got ideas and you feel like this isn't coming together. It's just a big waste of time. I gotta tell you, no, it's not. And here's why. Here's evidence. when I first got Twitter, and I wasn't fucking funny, and nobody knew who I was in terms of a creative person. The thing that I did, because at the time, there was a Comedy Central show called At Midnight, where the conceit was they would give you little prompts, like Twitter joke prompts. They would give the panelists that, and they would like come up with fucking tweets, basically. And then part of the Twitter integration was they would have like hashtags that they prompted the guests with, but then you could use the hashtag, and maybe At Midnight would retweet you if you were funny enough. And I thought that it was extremely dumb and bad because most of the prompts sucked major ass. So my running joke was I kept and their handle was At Midnight, so I kept tagging At Midnight, be like, At Midnight, I got a great idea for a Twitter game for you. It's called Make Tom Petty a Drink. There's a lot of potential with this one. My first thought, you can call him Tom Pepsi, but I mean, there's so many others that you could do. And I made so many where it was bugging At Midnight about like, can you please implement Make Tom Petty a Drink?
I got design documents right here. I think we can make this a winner.
Yeah, I already told you Tom Pepsi. I've thought of so many others. I'm going to keep them secret until later. But like Tom Pepsi, obviously, so there's like gold in the hills. That's like proof of concept. Make Tom Petty. And so the point being, years later, I found the perfect place. Fuck. Oh shit. I want to tell my stupid joke. It much like my Husker Du joke, it's not funny and no one will like it, and it's just to prove that I know music facts. So you know how this is Oops All Goof 6, but we're not calling it that? That's just like how fucking Mark Kozolek stopped being Red House Painters and started being Sun Kill Moon so that he would get cheap heat from starting a new band, even though it wasn't a new band. Anyway, that guy's a fucking big-time creep. He's an asshole.
I like his voice where he doesn't care. Like, he just doesn't care. By the time he was Sun Kill, you showed me this guy. You're like, here's the context. This is what he was before.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, sounds like a beautiful angel who's like the most clear, like a clear bell from heaven. And then now he's just like, I went to the store.
No, after it's like he had botched Tom Waits surgery.
That's called drinking, Joe.
Is the song called Ben Is My Friend? There's one song where he just talks about going to a concert, and he was like in New Orleans, and he ate some crab with his girlfriend. It was like whatever, and then they bought some drapes. And it's like I fucking love it.
I mean, well, that's sort of the happy medium where that was something that he had never done before, and so it was like sort of like, oh, interesting. It's like a different type of like conversational writing, and he's using his voice in a different way. How interesting. And then because it was like new and it popped, and he got like sort of hot again, which he hadn't been for decades. He went nuts, dude. He started becoming he's apparently always been an asshole, but he became even more of an asshole, feuding with people and doing tons of sex assault. And also, he got it in his head that what people like the lazy. So he just like tripled, like his albums after that, like that album's still good. It's like kind of funny. His albums after that are unlistenable. Like he doesn't write a song.
Yeah, because he plays music in the album that I like. Like the contrast for me is that there's good musicality, and then he doesn't care.
Yeah, now he just straight up doesn't care. He just gets his fucking acoustic guitar, sort of lazily jangles on that piece of shit, and goes on for like. Also, he makes the song so fucking long, like 50 minutes. Enough of this bullshit. I'm not talking about this fucker anymore. Big news, folks. Klaxon. Put it at the top of the... Things are about to change big time. Because the story of the century is about to be broken on the most powerful platform ever made. X, the Everything app. TV news? Who cares? Who has a TV? Who reads? Everyone looks at Twitter. It's got so many views. It's the new town square, honestly. and I'm hearing news that Tucker is gonna break an incredible story that Tucker's gay friend was gay with Obama.
What are the chances that like one of your buds bangs Obama? That's so cool.
That would. There was one time a guy I kind of knew was doing a live lit show, and like his thing was about he was like catering a Democratic Party get together, and then like Obama was there, and he wasn't like running for president yet, but he just sort of like gotta like, oh, this is gonna be like one of those guys everyone knows about. He just like could tell. So that's like, and that was like a story. Like he told that story, and like that was one of the winners of the night. So like, imagine if instead of I catered a party where he was at, it was I'd be banging.
I sucked and fucked. Yeah, that's way better.
I mean, say what you will about Tucker, the evilest man of all time, a big Nazi. This is like, I don't care what your ideology is. I want to hear about, and that's why this is the story of the century. It's going to be front page news. It's going to be anything anyone's talking about. Is that Tucker's friend was gay with Obama, and I love this because like because the thought is
2014. It's like a very 2014 thing.
Yeah.
That type of like conservative, like, it's gone now. It's just throw the bodies in a mass grave. Like that's the rhetoric now.
Well, I mean, like, it's dumb for two reasons. One, like, if it worked and it like completely killed Obama's public image, like what, like he's gone. Like he's never
gone.
The only thing he does is prevent the NBA from striking. And I'm fine if he doesn't have the clout to do that anymore. And also
he also puts out a playlist. He puts out a playlist every year. And do you even say thank you?
There's no chance he's listening to that shit.
It's funnier each year he does it. So like, can you imagine if this is happening still 20 years from now?
He's like 80.
Yeah, and we're in the Chrono Trigger future timeline bubbles.
Yeah.
Like,
we have the Enertron, but we don't have any food, so we're healthy but hungry.
Yeah. And then like just once a year, old calendar style, the playlist is beamed to us and we nod.
And we're like, oh, okay. He listened to Etta James. Okay. There was a fucking Boy Genius song on his latest one, and one of the girls in Boy Genius quote tweeted the fucking image of the playlist and said, "War criminal, sad face." And a lot of the Boy Genius fans are sort of like tender queer teens who hate conflict, and so a lot of responses were like, "Oh my god, this is not the time to say that." And it's like, there's no better time. This is the time.
This is his most vulnerable state.
Yeah. That's like the giant enemy crab, like, is completely like splayed on the ground. Its shell is opened, and the glowing red eye is just like lying on the ground. It's like, don't hit it. Anyway, it's funny because one, if it worked, who cares? And two, like Obama, like no one likes Obama. The people, like the Republicans who hate Obama, hate him no matter what. That already happened. And like now every Democrat, like, well, I don't know, most Democrats hate Obama because he's fucking, all he does is put out playlists and cook the world and go on like the Bilderberg group press conference and be like, I cooked the world. Let me be clear. I did that. Like this is like the only thing that could if this was true.
We had 0% interest rates for effectively a decade, and we built nothing. We built nothing with it. All we had was Uber pumped full of cash, which never made money, and a bunch of other apps that didn't work. It's crazy, and I bring it up just because like Obama had all that 0%. That was his playground. We don't have anything to show for it except for like the pre-existing protection
for health insurance.
Yeah, which
That's
is,
pretty good. Yeah.
of course, kind of deranged too, because the idea of a pre-existing condition is itself a function of insurance.
Yeah.
Like it is a concept that is created and made whole by their evil brain.
Insurance sucks. That's it. But like the point being,
I think the best thing you ever said about like to summarize America, you just said America is a big shitty insurance company.
Yeah.
And that's correct.
it is
Because I don't really know how it works either.
This is fucking. If he sucked and fucked, if it was like, let me be clear. I gave big time sloppy head. I get dick down big time by Tucker's friend. Like that is I could write down 100 hypothetical situations that would make me have more affection for Obama, and like that's gonna be number one by a long shot. It's like an expose. Tucker's here to expose the devastating reveal that Obama surfs huge curls and blows thick cotton. like oh, dope. I knew he had some good points.
The very 2010 conservative thing was like he was smoking weed in the White House and playing Xbox. I remember that was like a common, like, if you know,
dude.
Yeah, if only. Although you can kill people with Xbox controllers because I think that's what drones use.
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know.
Let me be clear. Malia was like, "Oh, Dad, my friends at college, they want to know, why did you not stop climate change?" And I say, let me be clear. It's not a binary. You know, these children think it's a binary. They think that since I didn't do anything, that it's done. But we can work now for change, so that it only goes up 3 degrees Celsius instead of 4. That's millions of lives saved right there. And like remember that the thing I can't believe is that like the guy who's interviewing him wasn't going like like what? And everyone in the news was like, he's right. If the kids do work hard, it can be that only 80% of the world's surface gets flash flooded every year instead of 90. If it was 90, we'd really be in trouble.
It's cool. Every climate report is written with this very, very optimistic belief that, like, okay, so we stop fossil fuels today, right? And once we do that, this is what we're looking at. That's the starting point for most of this. And obviously, that shit is not happening.
It's like, well, okay. So we might think we're fucked, but don't worry. I've ran the numbers. Me and the eggheads over at Science Island have figured it out. So as long as we do the least likely event in human history today, and it can't be tomorrow. If it's tomorrow, we're fucked. But as long as the least likely event in human history happens today, most people won't drown. And it's like, okay, thanks, man.
3 degrees was the scary number. Remember this? I'm not crazy. 3 degrees was a scary number, and now it's baked in. Now he's like, yeah, I'm stumping for 3 degrees. 3 degrees is getting a bad rap.
Yeah, I mean, I love that it's just like, let me be clear. There's gonna be massive world death, but doesn't have to be total world death. And it's like, oh, thanks, man. We were talking about
his whole family says the "let me be clear"
like they all,
for sure.
Let me be clear, girls. We have to get tickets to see Olivia Rodrigo at Coachella. I'm Malia Obama. I sound like my dad.
Yeah, people sounding the same, like just like a bunch of people sounding the same for no reason. It's the funniest shit. I love it.
It's so good. There's this. Oh fuck. So we're forgetting here that the reason we bring this all up to beginning at all, while we're talking about Obama being gay with Tucker's friend, is that this is an X exclusive. X, the everything app, formerly Twitter, is about to absolutely blow the lid off of the
Twitter files.
Yeah, the Twitter files. So I have this screenshot. Elon Musk says, cue domino meme from Jack Ryan at a Paris sex club to alleged. I'm so shocked he had the prudence to put alleged in there. From Paris sex club to an alleged Obama drug-fueled gay orgy. And then he is replied to by Sir Doge of the Coin, who says, not gonna lie, This meme is hilarious. Now, Joe, do you think he's right? I'm going to describe what the meme is, but before I do you think it is a hilarious meme I'm about to say?
No, our boy can't post.
He sure can't. Well, Sir George the Coin can't, and then Elon's going to make it even worse. He just fucking did exactly. He made the domino meme and put Jack Ryan at a Paris sex club at the little domino and alleged Obama drug-fueled gay orgy at the top domino. Nothing creative was done. Obviously, this induces Elon Musk to do the sideways crying laughing emoji, his favorite thing. And he says it's truly the dumbest thing that anyone's ever said, which is, can you fill in the intermediate dominoes?
Can you ruin it?
Like, can you... Hey, I want to make sure no one thinks I get what this meme is.
Can you help me understand my categorical misunderstanding of what's happening?
This is like the fucking, like, if I posted the cereal man being Sasuke will never be ballin', and then like he spits his cereal out when Sasuke is ballin'. If I was like, this is really good, but can you put in like 5 intermediate panels where he's
not ballin'?
Yeah, and like
or
he takes
like
several bites of cereal, and it's like again he fails to ball.
Yeah, and tell me about the town he grew up in.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Obama's gay with Tucker's friend. Tucker's friend, the TrueAnon podcast. I hesitate to give props to any other podcast, but they have captured I'm going to share my screen here for you, Joe. They have captured a post by Obama's gay friend. I guess it's Tucker's gay friend. But again, if they've been fucking, I guess he's also Obama's gay friend.
He's at least friends.
And he's a really friendly guy. And apparently he's got like an astonishing hog that like the rich and powerful can't resist. The guy, and the TrueAnon pod says this, the guy who claims to have sucked Obama's dick is posting some of the wettest food I've ever seen. And this is Larry Sinclair saying, I'm perfecting my new jalapeno smoked sausage cheese hamburger, and other than needing to dice the ingredients a little finer, I do believe I got it. Great flavor, just the right spice. And Joe, how would you describe the image that you are gazing upon? It is wet, certainly, is in the mix.
It is the Master Belch boss fight from Earthbound. That is straight slime.
Oh, I love wet food. I don't love it. I like seeing it. It's like how I love bad rap. It's like when it's like the fucking I Made Queso lady. And, oh God, who is the guy? Who is the fucking, like screaming skull politician who always is, like, posting, like, I love pizza, and he, like, posts, like, a slice of bread with, like, 3 strips of completely cold shredded cheese on it and, like, a carrot, and everyone's like, what, pizza?
It isn't Romney, but it probably is Romney.
Scott Walker?
Oh, Scott Walker has the sad sandwiches.
He does have the sad sandwich. He's the guy who's so proud that he brings the same ham sandwich to the fucking Congress every single day that he's had every...
Looks like dog shit.
Yeah, he looks like dog shit. Okay, no, well, I don't know if it's Scott Walker who has the shitty pizza, but I know that Scott Walker said that he was like going back to eat after the pandemic, and he shared a picture of him having pizza at a birthday party in 2019, pretending it was from now. Oh shit, no, it's to him. This is the pizza. Veggie pizza on the lake.
Oh no! Okay, so this appears to be uncooked bread, ranch, broccoli, carrot, shredded carrot.
It could be shredded carrot, it could be shredded cheese. If it's shredded cheese, buddy, it's cold. It's straight out the bag. No heat has been applied to this. And some cut up green pepper, I think that's there, and maybe some tomatoes. Now, Joe, say what
No
you
one
will.
put this together. This just happened like this. Like they found this.
This looks like it. Yes. This was a. God damn.
Someone just walked up to a big crate, hit it once, it opened, and this was inside.
I'm not a pizza purist. I'm I say you can do whatever. You can get real creative with pizza. It's a canvas, really, is what it is.
Unless you have it twice in 1 week, in which case Tom shames you.
Yes, that's true. However, I think that like the one thing that is required for pizza at some point, and that's not always, but at some point, heat has to be applied to. Like this is imagine chewing this. There's so much raw broccoli.
I think they were lying to him. I mean, like they're like, yeah, it's pizza. Go for it, dude.
Oh my god. Anyway, all this is to say, the reason we're talking about this is because this is all posts on X, which it just goes to show the power of this platform. So much more powerful than traditional media. The mainstream media is elites, and you know what I mean by that. Wink, wink.
Yeah. Let's also Let's also consider that a television station broadcasts only to TVs in America.
That's true.
That's true. But what if there was an app, an everything app, that was global in reach? Well, then it would make more sense.
It'd be on your phone. Everyone's got a phone.
It would make more sense why you would move away from cable news, which has an upper limit, like you can only go so far, to the biggest pond of all.
Yeah,
X, the everything app.
Yeah, I mean, this is really the public town square in a big way. And, you're so right, Joe, and that's why this is going to... Like, the mainstream media is trying to control the narrative, and finally, Tucker's gay friend is going to be able to break the news, and this is going to be, like, the biggest thing. When this happens, it's going to be the only thing anyone can talk about. It's going to redefine Obama's legacy completely. When people talk about Obama, they're going to talk about him getting sloppy-toppy from the man who made the wettest food. And
oh shit! I just got a message from HQ.
Oh, I see you're holding a piece of paper. It's a memo.
Yeah, this shit happened like 2 months ago.
Sicko mode, 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 sicko mode.
All right, we're having a family meeting. The family meeting is that one of our good friends and former guestos fired off a really low-effort song parody tweet about the Croods, and it has derailed our life.
This is from our homie Alex Burkowski Borko at Rude Hunch on Twitter. And you, Joe, said this. You might be of the thought that, like, because it just derailed our lives recently, and Joe said that he fired off a tweet. You think he definitely did this recently. This tweet's 6 years old for sure, folks. This is from 2017.
You never know who you're going to impact with your art.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. It's true. You think you put out something and it lands with a thud, and you think, well, that's
legit.
But
I actually thought it was a fresh tweet. I just am now realizing it's 2017, which is so fucking funny.
Wait, really? How do you even come across it?
Honestly, I think I saw it because the For You tab is nonsense. Like,
well, if the For You tab showed you this, then there must the
joke
about how there's woke people
there's some
secretly
soul
working
there.
Yeah. Okay, just read it for the class. There's enough teasing. What is this tweet from Alex Burkowski?
You know the Queen song "Don't Stop Me Now"?
Yeah, it's great. It's from put in Shaun of the Dead.
What if it was about the Croods? Take us away, Tom.
Don't stop me now. Oh, I'm having such a crude time. We're watching the Croods.
So this is a really dangerous... Actually, it's good, because the part of my head that's like, I'm going to do it this time, is now thinking about the Croods, which is way better.
Joe told me about this, and he was like, I'm just going around the house saying, don't stop me now, I'm having such a crude time. We're watching the Croods. And I'm like, that's pretty funny. I probably won't do that. And then 2 seconds later, I'm just like, don't stop me now, I'm having such a crude time. Fuck!
It's really good. And the nice thing is I'm not good at doing lazy song parodies. So when I don't know how it goes, I just say, we're watching the Croods.
Yes,
That's how I end everything.
Okay, I know that Weird Al is a real comedy icon. He got through where he is not through, luck. but through skill and work. I know that.
There should be
However,
a lazier Weird Al, though, that is also successful. Like the Mad TV Weird Al.
Like, I feel like as good as Weird Al's, like, very well-honed parody songs are, almost as funny is just you sing the lyrics, and anytime you can, you say the crudes.
Yeah. Because I was doing this kind of, but, like, with lazy swears. Like, for sure, without the crude influence, like the part of We Will Rock You, where it's like, blood on your face, big disgrace, blasting that cum all over the place. Yeah, like, I'm just, like, lazily doing that to myself all day. And now it's about the crudes, and it's a lot healthier.
Now you are a crude, you caveman dude.
I hope
Your
my neighbors
favorite
are
PC
like,
game is Snood.
you know that weird guy with the garden? He's puttering, and I think he's muttering about the animated film The Crudes.
That's okay. So that's a misconception. The fact that there is a movie called The Crudes is immaterial. Neither of us have seen The Crudes. Are you dumb? Why would we? It's pointless to do that. However,
we know it's good because it's caveman based.
yeah. So what I was doing, I was thinking about, like, there's so many Queen songs that you can make to be about the Crudes. To the tune of Bicycle Race, you could say, I want to watch the movie Crudes. I want to watch the Crudes. I want to watch the movie Crudes. I want to watch the Crudes. Crudes.
Yeah.
That's a good one. You could do that.
You get to say caveman words. Actually, just saying the word caveman is good.
Yeah.
Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a crude time is caveman reality. You can do the... No, you switch
Open your eyes, look up to the skies and see. I'm just a crude boy. Crudes are my family because I'm in a cave. I am crude. I am a caveman dude. You could go on and on like this. It's easy and fun.
Can you believe we were worried about AI? It makes no sense. We were completely putting our light under a bushel basket, or whatever the term is.
We're the anime sickos, and we're here to say anime is bad in a war crime way.
Behind the curtains, but making of anime sickos. Sometimes when we're doing this, we say 1, 2, 3. You know, you do that.
In the biz, you do that. In podcasting, it's the counting hobby. You do a lot of counting down.
Yeah. The thing that separates the great podcasters from the amateurs is knowing about 3. Anyway, sometimes Joe will say 1, 2, 3, and when he does, I will. And I don't mean to, like, be annoying or disruptive or mocking, but I will immediately go 1, 2, 3, and Joe will have no idea why I'm doing that.
I didn't know it was from something. You put up with a lot of weird shit at my end, so I was like, let's just give him this one.
I'm gonna play a 2-minute and 22 clip of audio from the BBC, and as far as I can tell, I haven't done a great deal of research, but I do not believe this is a comedy sketch. I'm gonna play it now.
And Patsy Rodenberg has just been given the newly created vocal tracks.
Oh, goodness, that's very interesting. This is a human. This is a human throat. This is a Neanderthal, and it's very squat.
To be clear, just for context, she's holding 3D printed models of the vocal cords, the larynxes of a human being and a Neanderthal, with the context being that the Neanderthal larynx shape has been newly discovered.
Probably the voice would be higher. So, Elliot, let's try male human voice, count over 3.
1, 2, 3.
Just pitch up your voice.
1, 2, 3.
Now, we might have an idea that a macho sound is low, but that might be very useful, but it gets even more complex.
As well as his vocal tract, our Neanderthal's strange shape would also have affected his voice.
Why is it like trip hop?
His deep ribcage,
it's cool.
a large and heavy skull, and most of all, a huge nasal cavity.
Let's just add a bit of nasal now.
1, 2, 3.
Now, the other thing that would be happening, which would actually increase that quality, is a very heavy skull that seems to pull down into the throat there. Now, add to that the fact that they had a fantastic chest, which is a support system of breath, which can produce enormous chest resonance and tremendous power. So I imagine that they wouldn't have subtle sounds. It would be loud, or very, very loud. And we can try and get that by, I'm now going to engage Elliot by push into me. This is actually getting him right into his body. Now speak.
1, 2, 3.
Now let's make a sound. Just let's make a huge R. And again.
What is Elliot's job?
So this actor, they got to go, 1, 2, 3! He is like, if you had to draw a card, if you were like Gary Larson of The Far Side, and you wanted to draw the gormless rube, you would draw Elliot. This
Also,
woman,
I don't think any of that shit is true.
Never been horny. Never been horny. Don't tell the paper that I ever got horny.
It was recently 9/11. Remember that? Remember when 9/11 happened, folks?
Well, you still think it happened? Wake up, idiot.
Well, when Tucker has a gay friend who sucked the World Trade Center's dick, then I'll listen. But until then, I believe it. There was this post, and the post we're gonna get to eventually. The reason I know about this is a listener of the show, Kai Tave, at Kai Tave on X, the Everything app, responded to this guy with one of the all-time devastating burns. But there's a build-up to get there. This is a guy named Bill Elmore. He's got a blue check, and he says former IBM executive and a founder of CEO of some bullshit that I don't like. He has First Amendment, Second Amendment hashtags, and he's happy to be followed by Benny Johnson. So this is the kind of guy we're dealing with. And he says this about 9/11. I was booked on a United Flight 93 on 9/11, 2001. Flying nonstop. I'm glad he said 2001 because otherwise it's not interesting. Flying nonstop from Newark, New Jersey to San Francisco, California. Around midnight the night before, a coworker called me, urging me to change my flight to fly to San Jose instead. This meant I had to give up my first class seat and move to a flight that left 20 minutes later from the same gate with a stopover in Denver. I was very reluctant, but I did it. When I got to the airport, I watched people boarding Flight 93, and I was upset that I was not leaving earlier in my first class seat on a direct flight. I didn't notice or care about the people as they were boarding, only myself. Finally, when I boarded my plane, we were 7 planes behind Flight 93. When we were 3 planes away from taking off, the pilot told us to look at the right side of the plane because it appeared that the Twin Towers had been hit by a plane. If you look to your right, you'll see that the 9/11 happened.
9/11 is yes. We have a word for this, luckily.
It's called 9/11 happening. I thought maybe it might have been a small Cessna until I saw the second plane strike the other tower. We were grounded just before taking off. I changed that day. I now take every opportunity to get watch, and if possible, I now take every opportunity to get, I guess he means purchase watches. He's always getting a Richard Mill. And if possible, get to know the people I'm boarding a plane with. I never hesitate to give up my seat for a later flight if requested. I've had 2 children since 9/11, and I went to multiple mission trips to war-torn countries. Every day I wake up breathing is another gift from God. Never forget. Flag emoji. This is so heartwarming. It really makes you think, Joe.
He changed.
Yeah.
Like, he was shitty before, and now he's good. Let's just take him on his word.
Yeah,
he's a better person.
The Second Amendment hashtag in his bio is because he wants to not kill people with guns.
He probably likes two-factor authentication, and he fucked up the hashtag.
Oh, you're right. And also, the First Amendment was probably, he also likes one-factor authentication. Like, it's better than none. You know, I like them both. Prefer two.
The one makes you appreciate the two.
Yes, exactly. Now, you'd think that this guy would fucking shut the hell up after having told his story and scoring points, sympathy points. I mean, that is a
His story
tale.
was, I should have died in 9/11, but I did not.
Yeah,
because of
yeah.
the virtue of my employee.
Yeah, who told me to get on a different flight. And when you tell a story that says I was about to get 9/11, but then I didn't, you really don't want to continue on and expose yourself as a guy who would have improved the world if you
This
got
is
9/11.
such an unforced error. Like, he just keeps going. It's not like someone gets this out of him. He just, like, continues to talk, and we wind up in a worse place. Take it away.
The reason my coworker told me to change my flight was she took the same flight on 9/10, and the commute from San Francisco to Mountain View would make me late for my meeting, whereas traveling from San Jose to Mountain View would be faster in the morning. So this employee, not only did she, through serendipity, save Bill Elmore's life, he would have died.
She also crushed it on the job front.
Yes,
right.
She was totally fucking right. His ass would have been late because of his dumb decision-making skills. I need my first class seat. When. I need a nonstop. When. This motherfucker, I can't believe it.
That
Foolish.
attitude gets you on the wrong plane, dude.
Yeah. And some guy responding to Bill he's like anyone would be. He's awed by this incredible story. It's stranger than fiction. He couldn't make this up. He says, "Wow, she saved your life with advice, which you followed. Whatever happened to her?" And, Joe, I would love you to read Phil Elmore's response to what happened to the employee who saved his life with her great advice that got him to the meeting on time.
Sad to say, unfortunately, I had to terminate her for poor performance. It was difficult.
It was months later, and she was ultimately the reason I was booked on 93 to begin with, because she wasn't doing her job well. I delayed it as long as possible. God saved a man by using a donkey before. Now, I know most of the fucking Bible stories. I have no fucking clue what that means. And that is when our homie Kai Tave said, "I'm going to invent a time machine just so I can go back and tell this woman not to bother changing her flight."
So, surprise, 9/11 was her fault.
So we talked in the past about how Yashar Ali gaslights you with his avatar, where he looks like a sexy cut,
swarthy kind of, yeah. Like the eye contact is intense.
Yeah. It's like oh my god, this guy's like, he's very sexual in like a deep way.
In a sexy way. He's sexual in a sexy way.
Yeah. But then like when you see, it's because of the angles. And he's wearing a hoodie and he's like hiding his jowls. It tricks you. He actually looks like a normal guy who's 45. So there's this fucking creep, Jason. I don't know his last name because I don't care to. He's one of Elon Musk's friends. Whenever Elon Musk is saying like, "I love Nazis and we should kill," wink, he's responding. He's like the first responder being like, "I do know, sir, and I agree." Fucking this guy Jason, his avatar is like, how would you describe what we're looking at here?
Is that Kurt Cobain?
I think when we first were talking about this, it's like wait, wasn't he on the Epstein plane? Was he one of the kids?
Yes, I could not because his name appears in a certain book that is a color
and a size
black. And I just like couldn't comprehend because like if that's him now, he was like -4. So
like if he was like one, like the options are he was one of the kids, or he was banging totally clear. Like, oh, same age. This is fine, actually.
And I didn't know. I assume this was his picture now. We got a recent picture of him on a plane. And so based on this image of him and his face, the previous timeline that was confusing is no longer confusing.
I mean, it still kind of is, because like I'm just looking at the skull shape, and like he appears to have like,
your calipers.
He has experienced incredible skull widening. Like, this is not normal aging. Like, it's like two previous Jasons side to side.
You should be able to use calipers for non-racial reasons. Just like, I want to find the weirdest heads, and this is my device for them.
I think if you have a blue check, it's woke to use calipers on you. You opted in. Blue lives don't matter.
Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode. Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode. Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode. Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode.
Yesterday in the Burbs, when he said, I can tell from the bumper stickers that the driver is Polish, and without skipping a beat or seeing the stickers, I said, oh, are they on wrong? They were Polish flags.
We're the anime Sickos, and we're here to say anime is bad and a war crime play.
I'm going to talk about a game I played. I didn't play any of the games that are popular now. I'm playing Nioh 2, which was from before. It's Dark Souls, but with like Team Ninja combat, where it's like really in-depth, and each weapon has a bunch of different move sets, and they have a huge skill tree. And it just really...
Do these weapons transform?
Some of them do. I didn't use that. I didn't use the switch glaive or the split staff. I used the Odachi, which is the huge fucking sword.
That's the Sephiroth sword.
Yeah. Yes, except like imagine it was twice as wide. Sephiroth's got like a legendary Odachi. I was just using normal ones. Anyway, it's just like it's a fucking Dark Souls. Like it just is. And so I love Dark Souls, and it's got this extremely good, chunky, weighty, deep Souls combat. Like for say what you will about like Dark Souls and Elden Ring, they're great, but like the combat is not that deep. You sort of have heavy attack, light attack, and like that's it. Like you might have spells and shit, but like you're using heavy and light attack. That's it. Whereas in Nioh 2, there's so many combos. There's like special abilities. There's activated skills that you have to input the correct input, and it's not hard. It's not like complicated, so I can do it with my fucking weak brain. I love it. It's very fun. And there's a couple of things that it does that are extremely genius that I absolutely love. And I just want to talk about how good these are, and how like this shit makes this not just a knockoff of Dark Souls. This is like a really good game. One, this is the most genius thing. Like I'm devastated that not all Souls games are doing this, and I think that From Software needs to do this. Is that so these games all have consumable items, you know, that like put fire on your weapon, or make you faster for a certain amount of time, or make you recover your stamina faster for a certain amount of time. You know, they're like, you give you a little boost that has a timer, and when you do it, you use up the thing. Now here's why that's fucking useless. It's the most garbage thing in the world. None of these items have ever in the history of any Dark Souls game ever been useful, because what happens is I'm either doing fine, beating the challenges as they are, or I'm getting fucking wiped. So, like, if I use this buff, what is that going to do? That's going to make it 10% easier to kill the boss. Well, if I'm able to get the boss down to 10% of his health, I'm already feeling like, oh, I just need to try a couple more times. I'm pretty much there. So if I'm getting like fucking wiped on the boss's first phase, and I use the fire thing to put fire on my weapon, guess what? I'm getting wiped on the boss's first phase, and now I have one less fire thingy, and then eventually I'm going to run out of fire thingies, and I'm going to look up, how do I beat the boss? And it's going to say, first put fire on your weapon. And I'm going to be like, I can't fucking... I'm out! Anyway, so that's how it normally is. What Nioh 2 does, and I'm like shocked at how smart this is that you make consumables out of your stats. Which is to say, Like,
What the fuck did you just say?
You have like spells, dude, that you can use that you can shoot out fire, or you can resist fire, or you can do all sorts of stuff with spells. And you also have ninja abilities, fucking bombs and such. Now, you don't buy those at the store. You don't pick those up off the ground. There's a magic stat, and there's a dexterity ninja stat. And one of the obviously upping those stats gives you like, you know, like health and damage and all that.
Output, yeah.
But it also makes it so that you are able to make more shit for free. Which is to say, if I have a huge magic stat, then I'm able to make a lot of magical talismans at the bonfire for free. And like, even if you don't have a big magic stat, you can make like 3 or 4 things for free. And like, it blew my fucking mind. Like, oh, you could just do that. So like, every time I'm fighting a boss and I'm like, this boss is weak to fire, I will ready some fire talismans. And then I use them all up and I die. And then I'm reborn at the checkpoint. And you know what, Joe? I have 3 fucking fire talismans just like before.
Like, game design wise, I like that because you're a ninja in this, right? Like,
you're like a samurai. You could be a ninja if you specialized in ninjutsu. But even if you don't, like I said, even if you don't, you can make like 3 or 4 bombs.
Right. I like the idea that a stat that is low is not useless. It is still generating consumables for you. I like that. That's cool.
And just like the idea that like there's so many fucking like consumables, and they like can stack on each other and like synergize with each other. And like, that's kind of like a stupid thing to try to spend too much time getting good at and like thinking about like what's the best combination, because like then you have to worry about like, oh fuck, how do I, like, who sells what, am I out, am I nearly out, how much do I have, but with this shit, it's like, oh, my fucking ninja score is high as hell. I can make every type of bomb and just have them on my fucking like favorites menu and throw a jillion bombs and use fucking status effects. I can actually, like, you can actually use status effects. Like, this is one of the rare games where you can apply a status effect and it's actually something that you would ever do. That doesn't... Like,
is it based on a stat? Like, is there a debuff stat?
No, it's just that you can, like, if you have enough fucking items that apply the status effect and you just use them a lot and with abandon, because you don't have to worry about running out, you can just do it.
Just hose them down and, like, paralysis or something.
Oh, another thing that whips ass is that there are skills that are like active skills. Like if you press heavy attack then light attack in this stance, blah 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 blah, it'll do this special move. Yeah, but there are also abilities that modify those that you can like slot into whichever one you choose, and some of them are you imbue that, you know, attack with element or a status effect. So for example, if you're using the Odachi and you have a move called let's say Moonlit Snow Redux, which comes out of block, and it's 3
you're juncturing it. You're using the juncture system.
You're juncturing. You do 3 extremely fast slashes, bam bam bam, and you come out of, it's out of block, so it's safe to use, bam bam bam. And if you were to say, oh, I don't know, put the poison status effect on that means that you were applying 3 huge stacks of poison, bam bam bam, very quickly. And if you are able to do the key pulse, which I'll get to, and do another Moonlit Snow Redux, bam bam bam, if you say you're fighting a human boss, and humans tend to be weak to poison, you do 2 Moonlit Snow Reduxes, that fucker's poisoned, and you're set. I love it. It's so fucking good. Another genius thing is, I'm going to talk about it now, the key pulses. So key is stamina. That's just what they call it. And like all these Dark Souls, is when you dodge, it uses stamina. Yeah. When you block, it uses stamina. When you attack, it uses stamina. When you run, it uses stamina. And if you are out of stamina, you are so fucked up and you can't do shit and you die. So, the thing that makes this game so good is that, like, it's really fucking hard. The enemies are very strong. They attack you very quickly and with a lot of damage. And you gotta be very aggressive, but it's not like Bloodborne where your guy is like super fast. I guess if you're using the fast weapons, but I was using the fucking Odachi. It's not like Bloodborne where your guy's super fast. So it's like, how am I gonna deal with these fast guys and keep my stamina meter working? Well, here's how, Joe. When you use your fucking stamina to attack and shit, there's like a portion of it like is like ghostly stamina. and it's like still there. It hasn't gone away. You know, your bar is a different color, but it hasn't gone down yet. And if after you finish a combo, after you finished attacking, if you press the fucking button, the stance button, right at the right time where because like you can see shit like the particles going into your guy, his ki is flowing back in, and if you press it right at the right spot, all that phantom stamina just pow, now it's real. So if you take, I don't know, half an hour and learn about like pressing the button at the right time every time you attack, even though you're using big, huge, heavy attacks from high stance that do massive ass damage and tons of stamina to do, you just plow. You get it right fucking back. It's incredible.
That's slick. I like that. That is a progression or like an escalation of how the Monster Hunter health bar works, which is you get hit, and then it is a section of your health bar that's like on deck for real damage, and if you get a hit again, that goes away for real.
That's like every time anything does that, I love it so fucking much because it just adds another layer of like, you got to think a little bit more about all these really like health, stamina. Those are the most basicest things in the world, but you add just a little bit of layer on top of them, and just like if you just get good at doing the key pulse, like it's as though your stamina bar is twice as big, and like you can really manage to do a lot with a little. And it's so good. And like it makes dodge. It makes, you know what it does is it makes blocking like good. You know, because a lot of these Dark Souls games, you don't want to block. Blocking's stupid. They're trying to disincentivize you from blocking
because it uses stamina, right? You're not.
Yeah, and they use the stamina, and you don't get anything from it. And also the game designers are like, oh, it's boring to turtle like that. Well, in Nioh, the fucking monsters are fighting so much that you can't really turtle. But like, when you do block, it's like really good because you can get that stamina back and counterattack like right then. It's fucking whips ass. Oh, there's also an upgrade you can get, which when you're in the middle stance, which is there's high, medium, and low stance. You can guess what the difference between the three of them is. But when you're in middle stance, you can get an ability that makes it so that if you dodge at the time that you would press the stance button and get your ki back, it does it for you. Like, it counts. So not only am I getting my stamina back, it's a free dodge.
You're schmoovin'.
It's so fucking good. Like, I love this game. Anyway, switching gears. Here's the parts that suck major ass and are terrible. One.
Complain.
The bosses are easier than the common enemies. Like.
Huh. So, I'm not a big Souls-like guy, but isn't part of it... you have these very insane encounters? Are all the bosses like normal guys?
No, they're still like huge demons and like monster mans, and they have unique abilities and phases. They have all that stuff. However, there's two reasons why the normal enemies are harder than the bosses. Like, for example, there was like a streak of like 4 or 5 bosses where I beat each of them on the first try. I'm not that good. Like, that's weird. Meanwhile, there were in pretty much every one of the levels to get to those bosses, there was a point where I just had to like defeat 4 normal enemies like in an area, and I just got fucking owned and rinsed like 10 times in a row. And I was going, The difference is, there's only one boss. When you're fighting a boss, that's right. It. That's him. So what'll happen a lot of the time is I'm fighting an enemy, and I got to get out of the way. I feel like I just got to get out of the way. So I'll run away, to get out of the range of his attacks. So he's going to do his little attacks, and I'll run back in. When I'm with the boss, incredible strategy. Works every time. In the normal thing, what I'll do...
With 2 guys, not so much.
Yeah, I'll run away, and I will accidentally blunder into a room where 3 monsters are. And so now I'm fighting 5 monsters. And would you believe there is no amount of ki pulsing that will allow me to block the attacks of 5 monsters and not get staggered to fuck?
Doesn't this game have, like, gear? Like, don't you pick up rags that say poison resistance and stuff?
Yeah, it's the shittiest thing in the entire universe. To to the point where if you said everything you said about Nioh 2 sounds great, but I don't like the gear, so I won't play it, I'd be like, you are right. Because half this shit is menus. Every time you fight a monster, they shoot out a jillion items. You have to pick them all up. You're constantly finding these chests. You got to open them up. There's items. You pick them all up.
You're complaining about opening treasure chests. Which can be a fair complaint, but just on balance, funny.
I mean, I love opening a treasure chest when I know that some guy whose job it was decided what goes in there. When you open up the Nioh chests, it's RNG. You're getting common greaves half the time. You're getting weapons that you don't use. It's bullshit. And here's the fucking... So, you get, like, in a given level, something like 150 fucking items. Pieces of gear. And it's like, are you truly telling me that I gotta go into menus and look at 500 cuirasses and figure out, like, which cuirass is right for me? Joe, you know what I did? I just picked the fucking ones that gave me the most defense that were under my equipment load limit. I did not fucking look at all the other shit. And there's a blacksmith where, like, there's this incredibly complex thing where you can, like, merge items with other items, and certain items have inheritable skills and other skills are not inheritable. So sometimes there will be an item that has a skill that you really want, but it's not on the thing you want to wear. So you have to merge it with the thing you want to use, and then it gets the skill. Just like, I want, like straight up kill me. Like, I will never do this. It's so bullshit.
So I played through both Borderlands. Actually, they're on 3 now. So I played through 1 and 2. And I think that game is another example of, like, what it offered was, like, look at all these fucking randomized guns. The truth is 98% of them are shit. So comparing them is just a useless endeavor. And then the other thing is that although the game contains a lot of, like, randomized guns, there are still named weapons with, like, set parameters. Yeah. And those are the things everything's built around anyway. So that's essentially Diablo again.
And, like, yeah, it's the reason they have all this fucking gear, and they're so, and, like, oh my god, they're so annoying because they're sets, dude. There are sets where if you have, like, there's like 5 different cutoffs. Like, if you have 2 pieces of the set on, you get this ability. If you have 3 pieces of the set on, you get that ability and this other one. And and all the sets. 2 reasons I hate this. 1, no set has odachis in it. It's all fucking katanas. And I don't use katanas. I use odachis. Anyway, and also, like, this, it's and it also just sucks ass. I hate it. And here's why. The whole thing, the game is so upfront about, like, now, like, once you beat the game, now the real game starts. New Game Plus, where it's harder. And I'm just like, I'm never going to fucking play New Game Plus. And, like, it also, like, it wants you to play, like, 4 times. Because, like, it, like, has names for the playthroughs. Like, the first one is, like, Dream of the Samurai. And the next is Dream of the Strong. And the next is Dream of something. And they all get, like, harder and harder. I imagine the enemies attack more. I imagine the enemies have more health and do more damage. I imagine that the enemies do status effects more often to you. And, that's the other fucking thing about the reason why bosses are easier than common enemies. You're not going to believe this. Their attacks do less damage.
Are you tuned? Like, are you scaled to the bosses and the enemies aren't or something? What's up with that?
I have no clue. The only thing I can think of is they don't want the boss to kill you in 2 hits because then it feels impossible and you're going to get discouraged. And they don't.
It's funny, though, because, like, have they not been making the other part of the game?
Yeah. Because you do die in 2 fucking hits to a common yokai who you might run into around the corner running away from someone else, and then bam, you dead, fucker. But so they want you to do New Game Plus 3, 4, 5, 6 times, and eventually it will get so hard that you must be grinding for a specific gear build that is hyper tuned for exactly what you want to do. It has exactly the abilities and synergies that are for your playstyle. And I'm just like, truly kill me. Like, Like, I know that this is a game that needs to have a lot of gear because, like, the enemies are very strong and very aggressive. So, like, you need a bunch of abilities and, like, special stuff. And certain things are strong in certain situations. So you need to be able to make decisions about, I need fire, I need water, blah, 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 blah. Like, Sekiro has no fucking gear. And that's because all of, like, every single enemy is tuned to fight that guy who you play as, Mr. Sekiro. Like, the moveset that's going to really be effective against every enemy is your guys. Like, that, it is it. But with, like, Nioh 2, like, there's a much broader palette of fucking guys to be killing. So, like, you need to have all this shit. But, man, here's the thing that really made me furious. You have a limit of how many items you can hold. Like, you can be in the middle of a mission and an enemy pops out 5 fucking pairs of boots, and it's just like, you can't pick up these pairs of boots. And I'm just like,
in a game where enemies are loot pinatas, that's a human rights violation.
It's like motherfucker, you're the one giving me the items. Like, what are you telling me I can't?
You know exactly how much I can carry and how much this sucks.
And if you go online, people are like, simply place the items that you don't need from your item box to the storehouse. The storehouse has 5,000 slots. And it's like, buddy, my problem is I have 600 fucking pieces of loot. And that's too many, yeah? And you're telling me that the solution is to go into the menu and click add to storehouse 600 times? You telling me that that's a...
like, select all?
I don't think so. I might not want to put them all in. It's just like, even if it was, it's so much fucking... This is spreadsheet work, dude. I want to hit shit with this fucking sword with the dope combat.
Is there the big samurai clubs? Is that a thing? Are they in there?
Yeah.
That's the kind of samurai I'd want to be. Because
yeah.
if they're wearing armor, doesn't fucking matter.
I think that it counts as it's under axe, but there are blunt axes. You can get a club. You can get a club with spikes on it. And actually, I know for sure. I know the boss that drops it, too. Yeah, you can get clubs. It's so good. I love this game. Except for that, it sucks major ass.
Never been horny. Never been horny. Don't tell the paper that I ever got horny.
Joe, I make fun of you not only for eating too many pizzas, but for playing what I call colors whizzing by games. This is a term borrowed, I believe, from the poster Libby Watson, colors whizzing by. I play art games for geniuses where I experience the height of creativity and become a genius. Whereas you play silly shit where colors whiz by. You just sit and drool at that shit. When we were in North Carolina, you played a pachinko roguelike where you just sat and watched little balls bounce that you couldn't affect for like an hour. I couldn't understand that shit at all. Well, I decided to give one of your little colors whizzing by baby games a shot. Game name of Luck Be a Landlord. It's one of them colors whizzing by games. I mostly did it, know your enemy, so I can make fun of you with more accuracy. Well, Joe, why did you not tell me earlier that some of those colors that whiz by are purple? I love this. The jingling keys are so interesting.
We have an episode where we famously say gambling sucks. Mm-hmm. We're wrong. The Luck Be a Landlord is this slot machine roguelike where the premise is you live in an apartment complex and you don't have a job. You just live in a box and you have a slot machine in front of you and you have to make rent. And you shut up. Let me talk about this. And the thing you draft instead of cards is you draft slot machine symbols. The slot machine is a 5x4 thing, so 20 symbols, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's your deck. And the game is easy to learn because all of the symbol interactions are based on like a child's logic.
Yes.
The kitty will drink the milk. The miner will break open the ore. The gambler will die when he rolls a 1.
What's another good one? The doggy. If the doggy is next to a human, the human will pet them and make the doggy happy.
Yes, the dog's good for that. They recently just buffed dogs, actually.
Oh, they did.
Yeah. So this game is you are just trying to hit increasingly rising rent deadlines by making as much money at this goofy slot machine. And it's kind of funny because we were just talking about how, the level of difficulty for Nioh 2 in the new game plus stuff is kind of like, who cares? I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. Overkill.
But if you structure your new game plus shit into like an ascension system, or what did Hades call it? Heat level?
Heat levels.
Now I love it, dude. Now I'm a fucking disgusting pig. So the ascension levels in Luck Be a Landlord should make you stop playing, because it's like, how slot machines are like at best awful, right? Well, now they suck shit in exciting ways. For instance, you have like 5 X's all over your screen all the time, and those never do shit.
I think the thing that makes Ascension levels so cool and New Game Plus so dumb is that, one, these games is short. It's not asking me to play a 30-hour game 2 or 3 more times. And also, it tells me exactly what's going to be harder. It's like, oh, you thought you were hot shit? Well, what if I made the rents 10 coins more expensive? Huh? How about that?
Well, I wouldn't love it, but you've communicated it so clearly, I think I would adjust.
Yeah, like, I bet I could probably beat that. It's like, oh, you did. Great job. Well, what if I also made you get less rerolls?
The other issue is that, okay, you're not actually hitting jackpot and getting real money. Even if you win a bunch of digital money, it doesn't matter. The thing that, like, oh my god, this is why I'm playing, is when, like, you spin the spinner, the symbols sit where they sit, and then the interactions just take like an hour because there's so much shit happening. Oh my god. It's better than drugs.
When you have, like, because when there's an interaction, when there's two, it's all the interactions are about, like, stuff being adjacent.
Yeah. When they do the yeast combat to each other.
When there is, like, a symbol that is adjacent to, like, 5 or 6, like, it's in the middle of, like, 6 fucking symbols that all interact with it, and the way the interaction, like, they indicate, like, this is interacting, is the symbols just shake, and so, like, they all shake one at a time. It takes forever, and you're just like, every one of these shakes means that this is doing double value. I should be clear about when we say slot machine. A normal slot machine, unless you get shit in a row, nothing happens, and you lose money all the time. In Lucky
yeah, in
Landlord,
this, if you can see it, it counts towards the roll. Like, all it has to be is visible.
You know what actually is a good way of putting it? Is that this is like, this is exactly the same as like a card game deck builder, except your hand is 20 cards, and when you draw them, you just sort of like drop them on the table and like, I'm done. Like, you can't, like, there's no decision making. You just draw 20 cards and, like, I hope something good happens, and then the game does it for you.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite symbol?
Mrs. Fruit.
Tell me about
Fruit,
Mrs.
dude.
Fruit. What's Mrs. Fruit?
Mrs. Fruit's deal, and you might be shocked to learn this, is that she loves fruit. So, okay, so the other thing I like about this game, and I'm going to interject here.
Do it.
In this Mrs. Fruit thing, which is a lot of it hinges around destroying symbols. One of my favorite things to do in Slay the Spire and deck builders is I love to just wean a deck down to just what it is.
Yeah.
And in those games, your Slay the Spire, like, getting rid of cards permanently is like an event. It's like, I have to go to the merchant, I have to make the payment that is always increasing. So it, like, doesn't happen a lot. In this, there's so much, like, destruction and interaction. You have so many ways to get rid of shit you don't need. It's very satisfying.
And also, pretty much every instance of a symbol consuming another, is like, if a really crappy symbol that sucks gets eaten up by someone else, you get, like, a big ass reward for it happening. So, like, a cat is a crappy symbol, gives you 1 coin. Milk is a crappy symbol. It gives you 1 coin. But if a cat drinks the milk, you get 10 coins. You see how it goes.
Yes. And how Mrs. Fruit works is anytime she's adjacent to a fruit, she eats it, so it's destroyed, and then her value goes up by 1. So here's some of the nuttiness I love. You're going to want the compost essence, which you get at the higher levels, which makes it so when every time 3 symbols are destroyed, a fruit seed is generated. So that's going to make it so when she eats a peach, which ends with a fruit seed, you can generate a second one. Yeah.
Because the peach got a seed, folks. Think.
So it is not inconceivable to watch Mrs. Fruit go on a crazy fruit-eating rampage, the likes of which the computer has to like devote 10 seconds of bouncing and clinging.
It's so
and she like gets stronger. So like by the end, she's worth like 100 every time she shows up, and it's wonderful.
And she's showing up more often because she's eating all the chaff symbols. So there's only like 20 symbols in your deck. So when you roll your 20 fucking symbols on the reels, she's always showing up.
I do think my favorite item in the game is coin on a string, which in addition to any of the countless symbols you can get, one of the symbols is just a coin, and the coin is worth 1 coin. It sucks.
Yeah.
So there is hex symbols that you can get. They give a lot of money, but they come with like a maybe a potential downside. And one of them, the Hex of Midas, is like worth 3, but it also could just add a coin to your deck. That sucks.
Yeah.
However, coin on a string makes it so anytime you get a coin, it doesn't go in your deck. You just get 12 money, and it is removed from the game. Holy shit.
That's so good.
Anytime a game lets you turn a card's bad thing into the engine, that's what I'm talking about.
I gotta tell you about my best ever deck. When you win, you can choose to go endless mode and see how many payments you can make. And obviously every payment, like the amount it goes up. So, it increases by 25, then it increases by 75, then and on and on. So even if you are playing endlessly with a great deck, you're eventually going to hit the point where you can't keep up. But I had the most like dumbass scaling. And that's what Mrs. Fruit does. Every time she eats fruit, she scales. She gets stronger and stronger. So I had the key things here, where I had a geologist, which is like a miner. They both break open ore, and then a little gem is inside. So the miner usually does that as a common. The geologist is special because not only do they do that, if they are ever next to the crappy gems that only give you 1 or 2 money.
Pearls, shiny pebbles, those things.
Yeah.
They fucking finally clean those out for you.
Eat them fucking up, and every time they eat them up, the geologist gives you 1 more fucking doo-doo little ability. So I had that going. And I had 2 amethysts, which are a rare gem, where anytime another symbol buffs them, they become permanently 1 coin more valuable. And I also had a dame. Now, dames, what do dames like, Joe?
Dude, dames like 2 things: gems of all kind and martinis. They will destroy the martinis because they drink them. The gems, they will just increase their value by being adjacent. Like, she's such a babe, it just makes the ruby better.
So, I am having my geologist crack open ore, and anytime some crappy bad gem shows up, he just gets rid of it. And when he does, not only is there a huge bonus for getting rid of it, but it makes him stronger. When he shows up, default, he's giving me more coins. And then my fucking amethyst, because there's not very many symbols in my deck, so pretty much everything's adjacent to everything else, pretty much almost every single spin. So these are amethysts are giving me like 20, 30, 40, 50 fucking money because the dame is constantly rubbing them. And in addition, I also had the diver. So the diver is similar to the geologist, which is anytime there's any sort of ocean-related symbol.
And there's a bunch of low-level ocean shit you want to get rid of. The anchor it gives you 1 gold unless it's in the corner.
Yeah.
So
That's a good
the
starting
fucking puffer
out,
fish. The puffer fish will give you a shuffle token when destroyed.
That's very good. A sand dollar just gives you dollars when it's destroyed. But anyway, he'll destroy any sort of sea-related thing, and when he does, would you believe it buffs his fucking value by 1 every time. And here's where my incredible synergy comes in. Pearls, which are one of the gems, are also sea things. So if I have a shit ton of awful pearls, not only do I have the geologist sucking them up, I have the diver cleaning them up too. So I am free to crack open as many ores as I please, secure in the knowledge that the most common result of the pearl is going to be fucking turned into pure profit.
That also makes, like, I think, are they the jellyfish very appealing? They're an early game item, which is, they're a jellyfish, they give 1, but there's like a 20% chance they will produce a pearl, and when they are removed, they will leave a pearl behind.
That's oysters. That's oysters that do that.
Oh,
But yes. That's so good. But I was thinking, because the jellyfish are also good, because when they're removed, you get a removal token. So you can remove something else for free. This game's dope as hell.
There are 2 things we need to discuss. The first one is how the thief mechanic is stupid and not worth it and not fun.
It's not. What does the thief do? Tell us.
The thief takes 1 coin from you every turn, but his value... Well, not his value, but like his potential value goes up 4. And then when he is destroyed, that potential value becomes real dollars in your pocket. And the way they are killed is by one of 2 ways. 1, a bounty hunter card, which frankly kind of sucks because it only exists to kill the thief.
Yeah, and it gives you 1 coin. Blame, boo.
Yeah, and the other way, which is fucking stupider, is they are adjacent to a banana peel, which you get when a monkey or Mrs. Fruit eats a banana. So the use case here sucks. It's not fun. I avoid this mechanic like a plague. There's items that are like the looting glove that are like, oh, thief popping is 1.5 times more valuable. It's like, I'm still not doing it.
Yeah, because what are you going to do? This is the most annoying thing, is when like you're like 1 symbol away from like a perfect synergy, and it just never comes up. It's never offered to be added into your deck. There's so many fucking times that this has happened to me where I've had like a jillion ore and all the items that make cracking ore better, and I just cannot get a miner for the love or money. But so say you have a thief, and the thief is fucking stealing money from you, but his nest egg is growing and growing. You want that nest egg. Say that I eventually get a bounty hunter. Great. And he pops the thief. Great. I love this. Now I still have this shitty bounty hunter, which doesn't give me hardly any money, clogging up my deck. And what am I going to do? If I ever get offered a thief again, which is not guaranteed, what's going to happen? I'm going to roll once, and he's going to get popped immediately when his value is 4, which is a big waste of time. Or again, there's no good outcome. And like the Joe was talking about the gambler. The gambler
is the thief, but better.
Yes,
it's just the same idea, but it doesn't suck to execute. How the gambler works is, the gambler goes up by 2 or so every turn. And then the game also has dice symbols. There's a 3-sided dice and a 5-sided dice. And how that works with the gambler is, if one of those dice rolls a 1 and the gambler is present, he dies from gambling shame, and then you get all that money.
This is very funny because you're definitely going to get offered a die. They're very common. And also, like, the thief is a big gamble, but a gambler is a sure thing.
It's really stupid. It makes it so like you're rooting for ones. Because basically, yes, you want the money to go on forever, but like anytime you roll a 1 and you kill that guy, you're also freeing up space. So you're not really, you're crying if it happens and he's only giving you 12 or whatever.
Yeah. The worst symbol in the game is the comedian.
Yes, this is actually the other point. Yes, we are on the same wavelength.
I love the colors. They whiz by so well. The comedian is the most ugliest one. Like, just visually is the most ugliest sprite in the game.
It's the drama and comedy mask. Obviously, the comedy one.
It's like not even a guy. It's a fucking mask. That's not a comedian. I've seen many comedians. They generally have meat and, like, arms. Not mask.
The interactions are stupid. I don't disagree with them. I just hate that they're there. Comedians give bonuses to, like, dogs and babies and
monkeys, I think.
Monkeys. And then later, and then as well as being next to alcohol. Is that the case?
I think so. That makes some sense. I mean,
there's a really fucking stupid item called, like, dark humor that makes it so, like, the comedian gives a bonus to, like, souls and, like, other scary things.
Yeah, graves and ghosts and shit.
I like, just thematically, I just, like, really hate that interaction, that design. And I have, like, won with it a bunch of times. It's not terrible. It's just, like, I'm not having a good time. I hate this theme.
Yeah, it turns out Anthony Jeselnik makes ghosts more powerful.
That's how I can think of it. That's exactly what I think of it when I think of that item. It's just, yes.
I never pick comedian because it's ugly. I don't like looking at it on my screen, and also because, like, the things it buffs, babies, dogs, monkeys, alcohol, are, like, all very low value early game things that I want to be gone by the time I have rare items that I'm at. And somehow they have decided that the comedian is a rare symbol. Like, he's as good as Mrs. Fruit according to the game. No, wrong.
There's an item that makes it uncommon rarity, which is, like, now you have to look at it more. It sucks.
I hate it. See, here's the thing, actually. You play this on the computer because I see Steam notifications about it. I play this on my phone. I think this is, like, phone game to the max. This is, like, the quintessential phone game. And now that I've taken fucking X, the everything app, off my phone, like, I'll like, paw at my phone out of pure muscle memory, but there's, like, no treats come out. So I'm like, where's the treats? And so this is the treats. Like, this is my methadone. This is, like, getting me. I'm able to paw, but I'm not, like, killing myself. I mean, I'm doing something very healthy and wise, which is
simulated gambling.
Yeah,
it's better than posting. It's better than learning about the world.
Like I learned about the world on Twitter. The thing I learned was that Obama's gay with Tucker's friend.
Yeah, they had a great time. Did you hear?
Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode. Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode. Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode. Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode.
That's it. That's the episode. Thank you for listening to Anime Sickos. We did it. Those were the segments. Anyway, bye-bye. I've been Tom, an Anime Sicko. Bye-bye.
I've been Joe, an Anime Sicko. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, a sicko. You can follow me on Twitter at TomHarrison19. Joe is also a sicko. You can follow him on Twitter at ShariaUncle. You can follow Anime Sickos on Twitter at Anime Sickos, or email us at animesickos@gmail.com. Please leave us a review or something. I don't know. Tell a friend. Anyway, until next time, bye.